And this is why vision boards work for some people and not others. If you want a change in your life, you have to be that change. And to be honest with you, I think Neville would agree with me. Welcome back to my channel, Closer to Your Higher Self. My name is Jerome, and I want to help you consciously create a life you love. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons and share this with anyone you think can benefit from it. If you'd like to work with me one-on-one, my information is in the description below. Oh, and there's also a link for free guided meditation to help you work with negative thoughts. The information for that is also in the description. When you think of manifesting or the law of attraction, what comes to mind? Creating more money, better health, attracting the love of your life? Well, it's actually a lot simpler than that. As within, so without. There's something called the mirror principle. It says whatever is in your consciousness, whatever's inside you, will be reflected in your external environment. Your consciousness is the real you, and your external world is the reflection. So it's not just manifesting when you want more money. The law of attraction is not just at work when you want a new love. These principles are always operating in your life, whether you're aware of it or not. Many times we want the reflection to change without changing inside. It's like if you're standing in front of a mirror and you want to wear a different shirt and you expect the reflection to change. Now, you have to change your shirt and then the reflection will also change. Look at it this way. Examine your life. That's the reflection. The reflection of what's happening internally, your thoughts and beliefs. Remember, it goes belief, thought, feeling, action. Your beliefs determine your thoughts determine how you feel determines your actions, and these actions create your reality. So what shows up in your life is an indication of your beliefs, thoughts, and actions. The mirror doesn't lie. Now, I know some of you are going to be upset with me. I was talking with a guy and he had given up on relationships. He said all women are fake and they all just want to take advantage of you. So I've given up on trying to be nice to them. Now, is it any wonder this guy didn't have success in relationships? The mirror doesn't lie. That reflection is telling the truth. To be clear, I'm not saying he consciously wanted this to be the case. Most likely, he's not aware of the beliefs and thoughts that shaped his reality. And this is another important point. A woman said to me, men suck. I've had terrible relationships my entire life. Did I create that? And again, I'm not saying that she consciously wanted this, but I would be willing to bet that somewhere in her past, she internalized these beliefs. She may have even been too young at the time she internalized them to know what was happening. I had issues with money and religion. Like I just talked about, there were beliefs I internalized, and I was unaware they were operating inside me, directing my life. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And it's so true. I'm not saying you wanted negative things, and I'm certainly not saying you deserve them. But maybe just consider for a moment that maybe you have a program running in your subconscious that's directing your life. Make these things conscious so they don't run your life. If you want a change in your life, you have to be that change. What I mean is this. If you want to find your ideal person, you have to be that person. That beingness is what I call frequency, the signal that you're putting out into the universe. That's what you draw to yourself. The thing people get wrong is that they say, well, I'm a good person. I'm not doing anything wrong. Where's my perfect person? If you're being loved and you love yourself, you're not pining away for your ideal person. You're content within yourself and you enjoy your company. And you really get to the point where you feel it, where you feel that love for yourself. I came up against this years ago. I was really working on myself and I had to come to terms with the fact that I didn't love myself. I had to be honest with myself. I liked my accomplishments and the things I'm able to do. But that's not self-love. That's called self-efficacy. To put it simply, it means to believe in your ability to do things. I had tons of that, but not self-love. So I believed my worth was determined by my ability to do things. And people will take advantage of this. Because in that state, you think that if you do things for people, you will be worthy of love. No, self-love is different. Self-love is a deep, unconditional acceptance of yourself, regardless of your abilities or accomplishments. You have compassion for yourself and you treat yourself kindly. And get this, if you don't have self-love, that deep acceptance, it doesn't even occur to you to require that from your partner. You'll want to earn love by doing things. But develop that self-love, broadcast that frequency, and watch what happens. It might not be immediate, but love will be on the way. Why? Because you already have love. Love for yourself. You can't help but draw it to you. Affirmations, vision boards, positive thinking, etc., are only useful to the extent that they help you feel you have the desired outcome. Beliefs, thoughts, feelings, action creates reality. If you don't feel it's true, you don't believe it. Does that make sense? The belief is the first part of that sequence of words. If you don't feel it, you don't believe it. So you can say, I am abundant, but if you don't feel it, it doesn't matter. And this is why vision boards work for some people and not others. You have to feel it. You have to feel it like you already have it. Okay, so this is really a contentious topic, especially in the comments of my channel. People will say that you don't have to do anything to manifest the life of your dreams. And they'll point to Neville Goddard, the famous spiritual teacher who has many stories of people that were in a financial bind. They needed money to pay a bill, or Neville himself didn't have money for a ticket to go home and see his family. And he manifested a ticket, in first class no less. Now, I like his teachings. I think he's awesome. But those are one-time needs. When you're creating a life you love, there needs to be some action, inspired action. And to be honest with you, I think Neville would agree with me. So if you don't know, before he was a spiritual teacher, Neville was a dancer. Now, if an aspiring dancer came up to Neville and said, I want to be a dancer, what advice do you have for me? I highly doubt that he would say, you don't have to do anything, just go home and sit down and manifest that career as a dancer. No, I think he would say you have to train and you have to work on your craft and be ready when the doors open for you and you get an opportunity. Be ready for that audition. Training, auditions, sound like action to me. What other way is there to have a dance career? Instead of non-action, I think he would say, be non-resistant. In electronics, a resistor is a component that lessens the flow of current. In a sense, it squeezes the flow of electricity. So what does resistance look like? It looks like what I talked about earlier. Having a vision board with a bunch of things that you don't believe you can have. And it looks like having a positive thought about your desire and then a negative thought because it didn't happen fast enough. That's like planting a seed and then digging it up because you don't see it growing. And then planting it again and then digging it up again. It's never going to grow. See, you don't determine when or how a seed is going to grow. And you don't determine when or how your desire is going to manifest. So you should use willpower, but not to try to force an outcome, but to maintain the belief in what you want and why you want it, not the when or the how. So for example, if I want to open a yoga studio, I want to do that in order to help people have a more fulfilling life. That's the what and that's the why. The when and the how is not up to you. You have to be ready for the opportunities when they show themselves or when you meet that person that can help you. That's inspired action. Or another example, I want to find a partner to spend my life with in order to grow, learn, and to share life experiences. Again, what and why. The when and the how are not up to you. I would even say the who might not be up to you. You just have to be ready when they show up. You have to maintain that belief. You can't believe it one day and then doubt it for 3 days and then believe it again for 15 minutes. It's the same way with food. Imagine someone wants to lose weight. You can't eat healthy one day and then eat terrible food for 6 days and expect to lose weight. Now, you can eat healthy for 6 days and have a piece of cake or a couple of slices of pizza and be okay. You can have a negative thought every now and then, is my point. But like the pizza, get back to the healthy stuff. Now, another thing a lot of people are confused about is how much you're supposed to want what you desire. It's like people say, don't want what you want or you won't get it. And you're like, am I supposed to act like I don't want it or what? Here's an analogy that I think will make things clear. And I think all of us have been on one side or the other or both of sides of this analogy. Imagine there's a guy named Steve, and Steve likes Michelle. He not only likes her, he's obsessed with her, calling her 24/7, offering to help her move or anything else she needs help with, asking her out constantly. If she likes something, he loves it, even if he didn't like it before. He gets anxious if she doesn't respond to a text. He'll drop his plans last minute just to hang out with her for 15 minutes. Now, if you're Michelle, how does this make you feel? Probably a little creeped out. He's being desperate and needy. Steve is actually pushing her away. He's afraid of losing her. So he actually has a feeling of lack. Now, Alfred also likes Michelle, but he's not obsessed with her. If she's available to hang out, fine. If not, maybe next time. He's able to sit with her and have a discussion. He can express his opinion and be himself. Even if he disagrees with her opinion, he's not being needy. He's more likely to attract Michelle than Steve is. He's not pretending to not like her. He's being himself. He's not being desperate and needy. In other words, he's not so attached to the outcome that he creates a feeling of lack that will push her away. He's not trying to force the outcome. If you believe you have something, you don't feel lack. You don't have to force an outcome. And you can't just pretend to not be attached. You actually have to be that way. You have to work on being that way. Because Michelle will know if you're pretending. So instead of trying to force an outcome, visualize what you want, feel it as though you have it. And then think of something that you're grateful for. It could be the smallest thing, or you could be grateful for this thing that you're visualizing. The main thing is to have that feeling of gratitude. That puts you in a state of receiving, and then let it go. And I'm not saying you have to forget about it completely, just don't obsess over it. Remember, the when and the how are not up to you. Let me know if that makes sense. Now, some of these things take work. It's not impossible, but it does require a shift in mindset, but you can do it. Please like the video and subscribe, and tell me about your experiences in the comments. And I love reading you guys' comments, by the way, and I respond to as many as I can. So take care, and I hope to see you next time on Closer to Your Higher Self.